Nancy says, why are men afraid to commit, especially if he knows he has a good woman? Well, lots of people, just to kind of throw this out there, lots of people, men and women, are afraid to commit right now. Like lots. You know what I mean? Huge, huge, massive numbers, giant, massive numbers of men and women, both are afraid of commitment right now. I hear men all the time complaining that women don't want commitment. They just want to sleep around. They just want to hook up with lots of people. And so that's a huge part of the dating industry, like the dating world, the dating society that we live in. And so there's that one part, right? It's that lots of people, men and women. And the reason, one of the big reasons for this is that so many people are getting hurt, right? We live in a different day and age than everybody used to live in, even 20 years ago. It's completely different these days. It's different than it was 30 years ago, certainly different than it was 50 years ago. And we're in an age when it's easier to cheat than ever before. It's more people are getting hurt than ever before. The marketplace for romance is bigger than it's ever been before. We have more people engaging in dating behaviors than ever before. We have more, it's easier for people who couldn't date before and would normally live their lives and be single and alone for their entire lives to date. It's easier for people that are abusive to, do more abuse, and people are smarter with lots of different technologies than they've ever been. And so what's happening is that more people are getting hurt than ever before, and more people are seeing that things aren't working in relationships than ever before. And so people are like, like I grew up, for instance, with, my parents got divorced when I was young, and then they both remarried. My mom has been through a couple of marriages, and all of them have been bad. Every one of them has been bad. And my dad is married, and they're in a horrible relationship, right? And so I go out in the dating world, and I, date somebody when I was in high school, and she cheats on me with a bunch of my friends, right? And then you're like, why would I want to do this? Why would I want to do any of this at all? Right? That's the first thing that comes up for you. And at least that's what came up for me. And then I go and get into the dating world, and you have to find out, as somebody that's been through that, just that's not even actually being in the dating world yet. I started in the dating world in like the 1990s, right? so so now I'm in the dating world, and it's like you have all these different experiences, and some of them are good and some of them are bad, and a lot of people are hurting. And so they go out and they date other people, but they've got a wall around themselves. And so they end up hurting other people because they don't let that person in. And so, they break things off with that person, all that kind of stuff. And, you get all these really challenging relationships. And so you got all these hurt people running around hurting other people. And then you've got this huge mass people being hurt and all that kind of stuff. And lots of people don't even believe in love anymore. And they don't even have any role models that are good relationship figures. So they don't know. And then they meet you and you start wanting to date them. But the, last girlfriend that they had, cheated on them and stole their money and, kicked their dog and, called their grandma a bunch of names, and peed on the TV or whatever, right? And so you're like, okay, so what am I, like he's like, I don't know if she's lying to me, if this is really a good person, because he's a bad judge of character. The last 4 women that he's dated all cheated on him and, abused him and stuff because he's trauma bonded to him because he's got issues from his childhood and all that kind of stuff, right? And so there are a lot of people with issues, right? Like, there's a lot of issues going on out there, and a lot of reasons why people don't want to commit. And it's a challenge for a lot of people. And what people need to do is heal, because there's so much trauma going on, and there's so many people that have so many walls up, and they're not sure, right? They don't know. They're like, my cousin, for instance, got married, and he got married to this woman that he'd known for, I think, like 10 years or something. They had been dating for 10 years, and he finally got married to her. And he said the day that they got married, she totally changed into a completely different person, right? And this isn't the first time I've heard this. I've heard it over and over and over and over again from people. Like, oh, we got into a relationship and he turned into a completely different person. I got into a marriage and she turned into a completely different person. Happens all the time. And so a lot of people are just really, really hesitant because they're like, I don't want any more pain, right? I don't want to be hurt anymore. So why would I get into this relationship? Why would I commit to somebody, who's probably going to hurt me sometime in the future because that's what their experience is of the past. And so there's a lot of that going on. And that's why a lot of people, even if he thinks you're a good woman, he might not want to commit to you. Or maybe there might even be other things. Like he doesn't want you to find out that he's not really a good man, right? Or whatever, right? Or maybe he just really enjoys what's going on right now. And he's like, if anything, messes with it, it's going to destroy it. And so let's just keep what we have because it seems really great, and so you can't get overly caught up in it, right? And if he's not going to commit, and that's fine, right? He has a choice. The only way that you want a man to commit to you is through choice, not through obligation, not through pressure, not through whatever. You want it to be his choice. And if it's choice that he's not going to get married to you or commit to you or whatever it is that you want, you have to decide whether he's worth it or not. Or which one's more important to you? Which one do you value more, the man or the relationship? That's a lot of what we've been talking about today. And a lot of women end up picking the man because they don't believe that they deserve to have the relationship that they want, which is why we often end with the Queen's mantra,